June 1863, more than 200,000 men are already dead. And the American Civil War is far from over. The nation is torn in two, and the end is nowhere in sight. But in the South, one man believes he can change everything. General Robert E. Lee, commander of the Confederate Army, prepares for a bold gamble, one that could decide the fate of the war. Instead of continuing the fight in Virginia, Lee plans to carry the war into the North. His goal is clear: win a decisive victory on Union soil, weaken Northern morale, and fuel a growing peace movement that might force the Union to negotiate. With 75,000 soldiers, Lee's Army of Northern Virginia marches north into Pennsylvania. Moving to intercept him is the Union Army of the Potomac, 95,000 strong under newly appointed commander George G. Meade. Both armies are converging toward a small, quiet town where 10 roads meet, Gettysburg. Neither side fully intends to fight there, but history has already chosen the battlefield. July 1, 1863, the battle begins almost by accident. Union cavalry under General John Buford encounters advancing Confederate forces west of Gettysburg. Outnumbered, Buford's men fight fiercely, not to win, but to delay. They hold the line just long enough. Union infantry begins to arrive, led by Major General John Reynolds. But within moments of entering the fight, Reynolds is struck in the neck and killed. Despite the loss, Union forces press on. Fighting intensifies along the Chambersburg Pike. Confederate reinforcements pour in under generals like Robert Rhodes and Jubal Early. Slowly, the balance shifts. Union lines begin to collapse. Soldiers retreat through the streets of Gettysburg, some escaping, others captured in the chaos. By afternoon, the Union Army regroups on high ground at Cemetery Hill. The Confederates probe the position, but do not attack. Day 1 ends with a Confederate advantage. But the battle is only beginning. July 2, 1863, the Union Army forms a defensive line shaped like a fishhook anchored on high ground. This position gives them a critical advantage. But one decision nearly destroys everything. Union General Dan Sickles moves his corps forward to the Peach Orchard, believing it offers better ground. Instead, he creates a dangerous bulge in the Union line when he does not have enough men to defend. General Lee sees the opportunity. He orders a massive, coordinated assault. Longstreet attacks the Union left, Hill pressures the center, Ewell strikes the right. It is one of the hottest days of the year. At Devil's Den, brutal close combat erupts. The ground changes hands again and again. At Little Round Top, Union forces arrive just in time. Wave after wave of Confederate soldiers charge uphill. They are exhausted, but relentless. Finally, a desperate Union bayonet charge breaks the attack. The left flank holds. Meanwhile, the fighting spreads. The Peach Orchard falls quickly. The wheat field becomes a killing ground, changing hands 6 times. Confederate forces push dangerously close to splitting the Union Army in two. For a moment, victory seems within reach for the South. But Union reinforcements, moving along interior lines, arrive just in time. The line holds. As darkness falls, the fighting continues. Confederate forces launch attacks on Cemetery Hill and Culp's Hill. Union defenders, exhausted and outnumbered, struggle to hold. Some positions are briefly overrun, but reinforcements surge in at the last moment. By night's end, the Union still stands. Casualties now exceed 37,000 men. Gettysburg is already the bloodiest battle of the war. And still, one final day remains. General Lee believes the Union center is vulnerable. He decides to strike it directly. Leading the assault is General George Pickett. The attack will become known as Pickett's Charge. At 1 p.m., Confederate artillery opens fire. Union guns respond. What follows is the largest artillery duel ever seen in North America. The earth shakes, the sky fills with smoke. But the bombardment fails to break Union lines. At 3 p.m., 12,000 Confederate soldiers step forward. They must cross nearly a mile of open ground. There is no cover, no protection, only gunfire. Union artillery tears through their ranks. Infantry volleys cut them down. Still, they advance. Some reach the Union line for a brief moment. The outcome hangs in the balance. Then Union reinforcements arrive in overwhelming numbers. The line holds, the attack collapses. Nearly half the attackers are killed, wounded, or captured. Lee's greatest gamble has become his greatest defeat. While the main assault unfolds, Confederate cavalry under J. B. Stuart attempts to strike the Union rear, but they are stopped by Union cavalry led by David M. Gregg and George Armstrong Custer. The flanking maneuver fails. The Battle of Gettysburg is over. The Union has won. Lee remains briefly on the field, hoping for a counterattack. But it never comes. On July 4th, he begins his retreat back to Virginia. Gettysburg becomes a scene of unimaginable horror. The wounded outnumber civilians. Homes, churches, and farms become hospitals. Bodies lie where they fell. Mass graves are dug across the battlefield. Eventually, a decision is made to create a proper burial ground. Thus, the first national military cemetery is established. On November 19, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln delivers a brief speech at the dedication of the cemetery, the Gettysburg Address. In just a minute, he redefines the meaning of the war and honors the sacrifice of those who died. Gettysburg was not just a battle, it was a turning point. After this defeat, the Confederacy would never again mount a major invasion of the North. But the war was not over, it would continue for 21 more months, and the cost would only grow higher.